You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Sarah Caruso, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. In today's episode, I asked my friend and fellow psychic medium Maria Mumbach to come on and talk to you guys about mediumship and shamanism. Maria recently started her path towards shamanism, and she's super intuitive and super sweet, and I just love how comfortable and open she is about discussing topics like mediumship and shamanism. I also want to give her a shout out because while we were trying to record this interview, we came across some technical difficulties and we had to try 3 times until we finally got it right. So Maria, if you are listening, I am so grateful for your patience. Let's get to the show. Maria, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you've kind of come to a path of mediumship and shamanism?
Sure. Thank you for having me. My name is Maria, and I started my journey last year. I have a long line. However, I do have a long line of shamanism in my family that I didn't know about. Until I started researching and exploring my own quirkiness. I call it quirkiness, but my own abilities. I started asking questions, and then I found out from my mom that shamanism runs in our family. However, it kind of died down in her generation because of that Catholic Christianity type of religion coming into the family, and how that sort of thing is not a good thing to do or have abilities in any way.
Right. A lot of this has to do with like fear.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I think that my mom is a sensitive person as well. But she was also looked upon, like her family would look at her like she was not normal.
Okay. Even with the shaman background.
Even because it completely died. Like it went from healers to nothing. And
wow.
And it all had to do with one person coming into religion and bringing everybody else in.
Right. I hear that so much. Like you come out as like, psychic or medium or something like that. And you go your whole life without knowing that like your great grandmother or your grandmother had these visions or something as well. And it's like, well, how did we not know about it? Like, how was this not discussed? How is this not open to the family? Because so many times you're just programmed for fear.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think that religion is fear. It's fear-based.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm not trying to offend anybody, of course.
Right.
Because I grew up believing the same things that, that religious people believe, but I feel like there's a lot of judgment and a lot of fear within religion, and not spiritualism is different than religion. So
absolutely.
I'm not saying that spiritualism is not a great thing. I think spiritualism is a part. It's weird, but I think it's connected to mediumship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So you were brought up as a Catholic?
Christianity. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Okay. And your mother, did your mother instill these same like, no, mediumship is bad and this and that in you?
Yes. It's funny because when I started my research and I was talking to her about all my experiences, she was always so intrigued.
Wow.
And then she would tell me, I remember when I was younger, and she would just tell me the things that she would experience. And I said, Mom, you are like me. But when you stop talking about, or trying to, when you neglect your abilities, I think they just kind of become dormant. I'm not sure exactly
Yeah.
how that works, but
Or especially like, because my mother's very empathic, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
she's always been very empathic, where she picks up a lot of people's energies, and it it's to the point now where she's been doing it for 60 years. She's been dealing with this sensitivity that it's almost crippled her.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
yeah, and it's like it's sad to see, because especially with empathy and being empaths, you unless you know how to be aware of it and protect yourself, it can really be crippling. It
Yeah.
really can be crippling.
Yeah,
And
because then you start thinking those feelings are yours. For
right,
example, if you're
right.
a toxic person all the time at work, then you're going to start
Yeah.
feeling those feelings that that person feels.
Absolutely. You're going to
So,
think that you're dealing with anxiety and you're dealing with depression and all this stuff.
right.
And and I really was affected by this growing up, because I was around a lot of anxiety in my life and a lot of anger, and I was just so angry, but I didn't know why I was so angry.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think so many people deal with that. um did you ever have like an aha moment, with realizing this? Was there ever like any moment in your life that you were like, what is going on?
Yeah. I know I've told you the story before, but I'm not sure who, the audience. I started with dreams.
Yeah.
My ability started awakening with dreams. And I know some mediums that went through the same thing with dreams. It's just I felt they were so lucid and so
Yes.
real, and then when
Hmm.
they became true, I'm like, wait, how is this normal? Like,
Right.
what is
Yeah.
happening?
That's what happened with me. I've had 4 um visitations, because these things were not dreams, and I would wake up at like 3 a.m. in a cold sweat, and it felt so real that I had to Google the obituary of the person that just visited me. And that
Yeah.
that has happened to me 4 times. And that was before I started developing mediumship. So, you saying this and I'm saying this, if you are having dreams like this might be a sign to work on this, to do your research,
Right.
because it is, when you are in when you are in a dream state, that is the easiest way for spirit communication to come through. you
Very
know
true.
so definitely just be aware of that. And I'm not a shaman, but I'm very intrigued by it. I read a lot about it, and I watch a lot of documentaries, and I just want to know, what you believe is a shaman, and what type of healing modalities do they do to help people?
Okay. I just started my shamanism um, pathway, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've been noticing and I've been experiencing is shamans are professional energy readers. Shamans can tap into every single piece of your soul, like every
Wow.
corner, that, especially that part where you don't want anybody to see. And it's at that part where you don't want to even remember, like you
Yeah.
yourself kind of regress that moment,
Right.
or right. So what shamans think is that parts of your soul
Mm-hmm.
leave you when you experience a traumatic event.
Wow.
So when when you experience a traumatic event, part of your soul leaves. So there are going to be times in your life when you don't feel complete. You have to bring that part of your soul back and have to put it back and heal it with love and light. So I truly feel like shamans are not only soul readers, but they're healers, and they are professional energy readers, I think. And I think because my path, I started with mediumship in tarot cards, and I started with, I actually don't really practice psychic. Maybe I do and I'm just not aware of it.
Right.
But then shamanism is something that I started thinking about, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to help heal people
Right.
from their human experience.
Right.
Because I mean, sometimes we go through some traumas that we can't let go, and we can't forgive, and we can't forget, and sometimes we need help to overcome those traumas to be better people to our families.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you say a part of the soul detaches from this person, yourself, does it go, like, I'm curious where this piece of your soul goes. Does it go back to, your higher source, or does it kind of get lost in translation?
I think it depends. It could have traveled to a past life, to a different dimension. A part of your soul could be there. It could be stuck there.
Right.
Some people think, I'm not sure what I believe just yet, but some people think that every past life we've had, some of their attributes come to the current life. Like if they had blue eyes, that those attributes come to a present life. If you were flirtatious in 3 past lives before, that personality comes through to, we keep some of those traits. And I'm not sure if it's reality yet. I'm not sure what's going on because I'm still very new in developing, but it's intriguing. But I think that some of our soul pieces travel to different dimensions, different times, because we are the only people that think time is time.
Right.
I think time is not really time.
Time is an illusion. Yeah. Totally. Talking about like the past life thing, I'm just like, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see, personality traits being put into this life from other lives, because there's things about me that I didn't get from both of my parents. Yeah. I did not. There are aspects about me that like nobody else has. And, you sit there and question, like, did I really like choose to be reincarnated with this family? Because you feel so different, you just feel so different. But, I've also heard like fears, obviously fears with all of the research that we have on past life regression and stuff like that can be a huge factor on fears and phobias and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, totally.
I want to eventually, after shamanism, here I go.
Yeah.
I want to do hypnotherapy. I think that's going to be pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think you would be good at it because you have a nice calming voice. Yeah, I know. Once you like open the door to this stuff, it's just like you just want to learn everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Absolutely everything. I mean, it gets very overwhelming. It really does. But I really do feel like you find your niche. Like you said, like you're not really much of a psychic reader, even though you're good at it. But your mediumship is good, and you're more of a soul healer.
Right.
And do you think? I mean, personally, is like shamanism something that everyone has the ability to?
I think that everyone is called to do something. If if it intrigues you and if it's pulling you towards it, then definitely I think it was meant to be. But everybody has a niche. I mean, Reiki is a great thing to do, a healing, energy as well. There's so many things, and it's so funny because the mediums of old, they were so open and so able to channel for long periods of time. And I mean, I really truly admire them. But just because that generation was able to read a certain way, why can't our generation read a certain way, a different way? I think that if we don't have to continue, that's just my opinion, the we can make it our own. And I think every medium is different. I think
Right.
every psychic is different. But even in mediumship, I think there are some mediums that look at other mediums that are doing it a different way, like very judgmental, like, why aren't you doing it the way I was taught? And
Right.
my teacher is this, and my teacher, you know what? Sometimes you just have to let spirit guide you and read
Right.
what spirit is telling you, not worry about what everybody else is doing or how they're talking or how they're saying. Because
Right.
yeah, because you're trying to be somebody else, it's not going to work. You have to be.
Right.
So I think if somebody wants to be a shaman, they can, but they have to want to, and you have to have the
Right.
passion for it. Everything is hard work. Developing is a lot of hard work. It's expensive. You need to spend not a lot of time, but a lot of your energy. And especially when you're just beginning, I used to remember, because I didn't know how to channel energy properly, I was exhausted.
Oh my gosh, me too.
I was just like, I
I
was
was
a
exhausted.
zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
mean, you have a family, and I mean,
right.
when we first tried having this conversation a couple days ago, I was writing lessons with one of my daughters, and then
Mhm.
we had the night before we had hockey in the morning, like at 5 o'clock. Like, she had to
Yeah.
go practice, and then the
No.
game. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
and then
It's
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard when you're, it's hard doing this and having your muggle life too. You know what
oh
I mean? And mom,
oh yeah,
and mom life. I mean, I remember the first time I went to a mediumship development class. It was like 11 to 5. And we
mm-hmm.
did a lot of channeling. And I remember driving home and it was only like 10 minutes away from my house. I was like, I am so tired. I haven't been this tired since my children were newborns.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like so
I
draining.
know.
It's so
Yes.
draining. Yeah.
Yes. Because you definitely need to, at first, I also feel like our energy, just like with anything, like going to the gym or starting to wake up early and stuff, like you need to kind of train yourself and train your mind and train your body to adhere to the energy. You know what I mean? And then it gets easier.
Right.
But yeah. Oh, it's tough.
Oh yeah, it's not
Yeah.
easy.
No. But it is one of the most rewarding things that you can do. Healing, helping heal somebody, helping bring closure. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
And everything else just kind of gets pushed to the side, like the judgment you receive and stuff like that. Because when you really truly help somebody, when you help heal a wound, when you help bring a message forward, that's all that matters.
Right.
So for the developing medium, and
Yeah.
the developing shamans. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, if you can give any advice to anyone who is listening that is just starting out on his or her spiritual journey, what would you say?
Don't rush it.
Right.
Don't rush it, because we want to, when you start participating in development circles, when you start learning so much, when you start developing, you want to be like those mediums that can channel quickly, that can have so many evidential communication, whatever it is that you want to be like them. And but it took them years
Right.
to get there. You can't rush your development. If you get one thing your first time doing it, you should be very proud of yourself.
Absolutely. And you also, people develop in different time frames. You know what I mean? Like one person might be a little quicker. It all depends on really, how much effort you put into it. How many times are you going to circle? How many times are you meditating a week? How many times are you practicing? It's all relative. But I can guarantee you, like, when I really bumped up my development and really made sure, like, okay, do one channel a day, that's when I saw the most progress.
Yeah.
By far. Yeah. But don't rush it, because your spiritual journey is your whole life, and mediumship is something that you are going to be a part of until the day you die.
Right.
And then you might do it in your next life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah. And you're going to have all the tricks to coming in and getting your message.
Right. Exactly.
Right. But I mean, don't rush it. That is such a great piece of advice, because I know that, like, when I started this journey, you are just like, you want to know everything and anything. You want to consume yourself. You want to learn about Reiki. You want to learn about mediumship. You want to learn about, just everything. And you can become so frazzled so quickly. Take your time with it. You have the rest of your life,
Right.
So thank you. I mean, thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Of course, we finally did it.
Yes. Yes. For those of you who don't know, we have been trying to set this up for weeks now, and we tried last night, and we kind of had a couple of failed attempts because due to our connection. But thank you so much for being such a trooper.
Of course. Thank you for having me, and I will see you at development.
Yeah, in half hour.
Yeah. All right, bye.